So this girl went to a bar to drink with friends, and while she was drinking with her friends, she met a stranger, a new man, someone she most likely have never met before. And right there, she became familiar with this man and became a little too close, which did not end well for her, and maybe for him too. Stories like this are why young women should not be too quick to be friendly with strange people. When you meet someone for the first time, give it a while. Keep your boundaries. Don't assume you can read and tell a lot about a person from just one meeting. So, the victim, who goes by the name of Inam Shakeni, was said to be a 20-year-old pilot student in her second year at Focus Air School, Durban. And according to the story, on the 9th of the 12th of July 2024, she left her apartment and went to a beer parlor, to a bar where people drink, not far from her school. And there she met two of her male friends who were most likely students too in the same pilot school. They were just there to drink and enjoy the night. It was a Friday night, so this is normal for the people to go out and drink and have fun. And I think that was what Inam was there for. Except she may have had a little too much fun, or maybe thought that was what was going to happen. So while they were there, Inam was drinking with her colleagues. She was approached by another man, someone who picked interest on her. Now, it's not said if this man is known by any of the colleagues, but it's possible that this was a new person. This was a stranger to the friend group. And this said man got so close to Inam, pretty much asking her out, toasting her, getting familiar with her, and she was most likely enjoying the man's antics or enjoying the man's words, because you know some of these girls do like a good word from a man who picks interest in them. And let's not forget, Inam was 20 years old. This is just 1 year short of a teenager, so I can imagine how naive she must have been, because an older woman would know better. So it is believed that Inam got so familiar with this man that they bonded all night, to the point that her friends were able to trust the man with her. And when the friends left for the night, they believed the man would take good care of her, and they believed the man had good intentions. But little did they know that this man was the devil from the pit of hell. Now, one version had it that when Inam's two friends left, the man promised them that he would take good care of her. Another version, which I believe this might be the popular one, because this is what a lot of people are saying, that Inam actually got so familiar with this man and requested to use the man's vehicle to drop her two friends at their school, promising to drive back to meet the man. And I want to believe the second version because the two friends were most likely there before Inam joined them, and they were most likely high because they've been drinking. So it is very possible that Inam used this man's vehicle to drop her friends. But how familiar do you have to be with a stranger that they will let you drive their car to drop your friends? This is the part that confused me, because if she is only meeting this man at the bar, what and what did they discuss? How close did they get to the point this man would let a strange girl he had only just met at a bar to use his car to drop off her friends? What if she stole the car? What if she ran away with the vehicle? Or what if she did not come back? So this part kind of made me wonder if this said man was really a stranger to Inam. Is it possible that they've met online and they've been chatting and they've been friendly online, and they only just met at the bar for the first time in person? And that could be another reason why the friends could maybe trust her with him, and equally the man would trust her with his vehicle, because that familiarity was a little too far for someone you had only just met. Most girls will opt to use an Uber, but for Inam to use this man's vehicle to drop off her friends and then come back to meet this man indicates a lot of things. Maybe she knew him, or maybe they've been talking online. If neither of these are the case, then Inam really may have gotten a little too close to this man. And I wouldn't blame her. Some men know how to put up a facade, some know how to lie, some know how to, present a persona that is not them. And this, for a naive young girl like Inam, who is 20 years old, is no surprise that she may have fallen for his antics. And this is where this interaction gets worse, because for two people who had only just met, people at the bar who remembered this time when they met claimed that they saw Inam and the man arguing at different times at the bar. And it's weird, because if this is a strange man that you only just met, what are you people arguing about? What are they arguing about? Why are people saying they saw them arguing? The CCTV footage from the bar showed the man dragging Inam into his vehicle, which is odd to me, because what is happening here? Do they know each other? This looks like an interaction or a quarrel between a couple, exes. or people who are currently dating. And it is not stated that Inam was dating this man. But with all this information that we have regarding this story, there is a chance that they were familiar with each other before now. There is that possibility because everything indicates so. However, the friends who were with her at the bar mostly claim that from what they saw, Inam had only just met that man that night at the bar. Only God knows how many hours. So I want to guess maybe she went to the bar around 8 p.m. because they saw her in drag by the man into his vehicle. Between the time of 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. in the morning, how did these two people get so familiar that they have to trust each other, with their vehicles? And they have to get to the point where they now quarrel like a couple. But this is my theory. I want to assume Inam also became drunk. I want to assume a drink was also spiked, but she most likely was still conscious and maybe refused to go home with the man. Maybe was strong enough to argue with him and say, nah, you know, one of those, because some men can be persistent. Maybe she had offered her the vehicle, she came back and she's still trying to play hard to get, but the man did not want her to go like that. He probably wanted more and she probably did not want more. That could lead to a quarrel at a bar. For strangers, it's just that for other people watching, it may not look as so, because if she's tipsy, drunk, or spiked, she would be slurring in speech. She would be weird with her words, and many people may not get what she's saying, and it may look like she's familiar with this man, especially if every other person at the bar had seen her with this man the whole night. So if they were fighting, it would look like a normal couple's fight to other people watching. And that is why I believe that people saw them quarreling but did not do anything, because this man most likely posed and positioned himself with her in a way to seem as though he was familiar with her. Maybe if her two friends did not leave, maybe if her two male friends were still there, this would not have happened. They would have been there for her because they would have known that this man is not her boyfriend or an ex-boyfriend, that he was just a total stranger trying to take advantage of a 20-year-old girl, of a 20-year-old naive girl. So it was on Saturday, early hours of Saturday, around 1:50 a.m. That was when the said man dragged Inam into his vehicle, making it seem as though that they were quarreling. He may have also maybe lied to them that I'm trying to get her home, I'm trying to take her to a hostel, but she's refusing, she's drunk. You know, if she is high and tipsy and he is the only one unconscious, he could make up stories. He could lie to the people who are like, oh, what's going on here? Oh my God, don't worry, my girlfriend, she's drunk. I'm trying to get her to go, but she's refusing. And people would believe him because they've seen them both all night. And I think that's what he did. Because if Inam was in total danger and she was aware of her situation and she wasn't high or tipsy or drunk, she would have been able to speak up, fight back, and tell people that this situation is not something she had anything to do with. But that was not the case. After they left the bar, that was the last time anybody saw her until the 16th of July 2024, that same month, after her family had tried to reach her and nobody knew where she was. And obviously she probably wasn't in any relationship, because when a young girl goes missing like this in South Africa, like we've seen in many of the stories, the boyfriends or exes or husbands are usually the first suspect in most countries for the most part. But for Inam's case, she wasn't in a relationship, so there was nobody to most likely hold as a suspect, and nobody knew where she was. And nobody knew who this said man was. So if she was in a relationship with this man, her friends would have known, and he would have been picked up almost immediately. Her body was later found in a bush by a farmer who went to his farmland to work and then saw a leg sticking out of a thick bush. That was when he called the police, and her body was discovered nude, and it was clear that she had been sexually assaulted and murdered by strangulation. It was also said her body was wrapped in a blanket, which indicates that she was killed from the man's house or a house and then brought and dumped there in that bush. I would think maybe the sexual assault happened in the bush, but this man actually succeeded in taking this girl to his home, where he tied her up and forced himself on her before executing her, wrapped her up in his blanket and brought her there to be dumped. It is also possible he did not do it that one night. It's also possible that he held her in captivity for days, a day or two, because it wasn't stated her body was decomposing, which meant he had only recently just dropped her there. Only God knows how much torture and suffer she must have gone through. And for her body and hands to be tied up, It's clear that, most times they usually do it to get rid of a body. And it could also be that maybe she recovered from whatever spike she was spiked and tried to fight back, and the man had to bound her. Because I'm sure there were signs of struggle that she most likely tried to fight back. So at the time when her body was found, the police did not know what to do. The family, identified the body when the police posted it on the news that a young woman's body was found. When the family identified the young girl, the investigation continued. They were able to know the school she attended, and that was when they started asking questions around. They figured out that she went to the bar, and the police went to that bar, saw CCTV footage of her talking with the two male friends, and eventually that was what led the police to the friends, who were able to give them more descriptive details on the other man that was found in the CCTV footage with Inam, who turned out to be the killer. As at the time of making this video, the name of this said killer has not been released. His relationship with Inam is still not certain. There's a possibility that they are strangers, and there's a possibility that they already knew each other before the tragic incident. The police are saying they believe he acted alone. They've not exactly mentioned if there was an accomplice. However, there could be that possibility. Some people are claiming that the two male friends were in on it, that they were aware of the situation, and it may have been all a setup to get her. But some people believe that this man may have just acted alone by himself. However, when there's an update on this story, I'll be happy to update you guys. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notification buttons. And so whenever there's a new video, you'll be the first to get notified. Thank you for watching.